Before I get into the video, I would like to properly introduce myself. My name's Sarah. On my channel, I'll be covering all sorts of content, mainly Danganronpa and Pokemon. That is subject to change, but I'll get into that at another time. With that out of the way, the video can now begin. Danganronpa is a psychological mystery-solving visual novel game series surrounding a group of 16 high schoolers being forced to participate in a death game. The games within the franchise have become quite popular over the years, which meant that at some point the fans would start becoming more creative. To put it simply, fan projects. They range from RPG Maker games to video series and even Insta-Rompas. Yes, I am one of those people. But this isn't about me, so I'll get to the point. In this video, I will be going over my predictions and overall thoughts about one of those fan projects. And as a quick disclaimer, I did ask the creators if I could make a video of this project. Danganronpa Forgotten Memories is a fan-made Insta-Rompa that began in December of 2021. To give a brief summary, 16 characters from the canon series games are brought to Jabberwock Island for yet another killing game. However, what makes this interesting is that everyone, with the exception of the protagonist, Maki Harukawa, have lost all memory of their killing games. As of now, the prologue is complete and Chapter 1 is coming close to starting the trial. From this point on in the video, there will be spoilers from the canon series along with this fan project. Please proceed with this in mind. I'll also provide my predictions for Chapter 1's case alongside the others. But first, I'll give a rundown of the important points thus far. In the beginning, Maki is woken up on a beach by Kokichi. Much to Maki's surprise, Kokichi didn't remember her. And as Maki went on to look for more people, she came to discover that it wasn't just Kokichi who lost memories. Everyone else who participated in the same killing game as them doesn't remember Maki. Which leads me to believe that it might have something to do with the fact that Maki was a survivor from V3, unlike the rest of them. After everyone gathered together, Monokuma showed up and announced the killing game to them. Maki threatened Monokuma in a rather aggressive manner. What came as a surprise to me, though, was when Maki mentioned Team Danganronpa and about how we ended it. Obviously, Maki was referring to herself, Shuichi, and Himiko. And what I have completely forgotten about, no pun intended, until now was if the killer is found out, they'll receive a second chance. Monokuma explained that if the killer was able to complete a certain task, nobody would have to be executed. Whether the task needed to be completed successfully or not isn't outright stated. I have a feeling that Monokuma intentionally left that detail out. Monokuma mentioned that everyone had participated in a game prior, but that Maki is the only one that retained those memories. Even when Monokuma was asked why Maki has her memories, Monokuma stated that he doesn't know. Maki's memories must play a huge role, since she is the only one with them, and if anything, it will come to bite her in the butt when the time is right. Anyway, that wraps up the prologue. One thing I'll be keeping in mind is where Shuichi and Himiko could possibly be while Maki has to participate in another killing game. Something else tells me that they'll play a significant role. Did Maki perhaps get herself into this situation on purpose to protect Shuichi and Himiko? When Chapter 1 starts, Maki was seen exercising by Ultimate Imposter, who is going by Byakuya's identity, and Kokichi. The small scene that occurred between the three of them was refreshing and interesting. I've always thought that if things went differently before, that Maki and Kokichi would have had a sibling-like relationship, so I'm curious to see what direction this will take. Maki went off to sleep after that interaction, though she had a peculiar dream during that time. At first, I thought it had to be Shuichi or Himiko, but after going back to reread it for a second time, I am kind of starting to think that it could possibly be Kaito, just due to how Maki was speaking in that dream. It seems out of character for Maki to say the things she did to Shuichi or Himiko. In the dream, it also mentioned the location being a hospital room. Maybe all of the past deceased participants are there. I can only guess, since I don't currently have any basis for this. When Maki woke up 2 mornings later, she discovered a piece of paper with Tsurugi's name written on it, along with Tsurugi's past role and cause of death. Monokuma informed Maki that this would be the motive to encourage someone to kill. Obviously, everyone was suspicious of each other. They all agreed on only sharing the information about the survivors, those survivors being Maki, Komaru, Toko, and Sonia. When a party gets suggested to be hosted in the restaurant of the hotel, Maki volunteers to help Kirumi with the food preparations. Along with Maki, Komaru and Izuru offered to help as well. I should also add that when Maki went to check out the wooden building with Kokichi and Imposter, something strange happened. Imposter seemed to be nervous and hesitant to enter the building. It seems like Imposter's unexpected feelings are linked with his past killing game. After spending a few hours with the cooking preparations, Maki went back to her cottage before the party started. She was worn out and wanted to rest before the party. During Maki's nap, an unknown voice awakened her, though when Maki went to investigate where the voice could have come from, she was unsuccessful. After briefly meeting up with Sonia, they both go to the hotel for the party. The party seemed to be going well, until Tenko tried to attack Izuru. All of Tenko's attacks on Izuru were a complete failure, thanks to Izuru having incredible reflexes. Izuru ended up leaving the party early, resulting in Tenko becoming guilt-ridden. The next morning, Sonia knocked on Maki's door, informing her that Tenko wanted to tell her something. This something ends up being about a pool party being planned for that afternoon. However, only the girls would be invited to this party. With the exception of Toko, all of the girls agreed. Maki had no reason to decline, so she accepted. Maki ended up going to the hotel by herself since Sonia wanted to attempt to get Toko out of her cottage again. A few of the boys weren't thrilled about being asked to leave the hotel site, but they eventually obliged to Tenko's demand. After breakfast, Maki walked back to her cottage. As she passed by Toko's cottage, she noticed a swimsuit just left there, so Maki came to the conclusion that Toko didn't answer. Once again, Maki crosses paths with Sonia. During this conversation, Sonia gives Maki a swimsuit to wear to the pool party. Upon the conversation with Sonia ending, Tenko approaches Maki and asks her to help in getting the boys to leave the hotel site. It takes Maki and Tenko 2 hours to finally get all of the boys to leave. They started to discuss ways of keeping all of the boys locked out during the pool party. To their surprise, Monokuma shows up and gives Tenko a key to lock the door to the hotel site. Coincidentally, Izuru shows up during this interaction. Tenko invites Izuru to attend the pool party, but they declined. After hearing Izuru's response, Tenko asks Izuru to lock up the door from the outside to ensure the boys aren't able to get in. Izuru agrees to this request and proceeds to leave the hotel site. With there still being 2 hours left till the pool party, Maki decides to check on Toko. Maki suddenly gets yanked into Toko's cottage, only to be greeted by Genocide Sho. After realizing that Toko and Sho are a system, Maki explains to Sho about the killing game. Maki and Sho decide to go to the pool party after this conversation. On their way there, they come across Sonia. As this conversation progresses, Maki and Sonia come to find out that Sho is a serial killer. The three of them go to the hotel after this conversation. Tenko and Kumaru were also waiting there. To pass the time, they have a rather lengthy conversation. Sonia comes back from the restaurant with snacks for the party. The group goes outside where Tsumugi, Celestia, Mikan, and Kurumi would meet them shortly afterward. The pool party finally commences. A while later, Kurumi and Tsumugi go to retrieve some drinks for the girls. Since they were unable to find any ice cubes, Komaru goes to the old building to find some. A little while after that, they run out of ice cubes. This time, Sonia offers to get more. More time goes by before Sho asks Maki to lead her to the kitchen so she can get something to eat. When they get to the kitchen, they find the body of Izuru in the freezer. The investigation occurs after this. Though I won't go into details about that, there is something I would like to say about it. For a majority of the investigation, Kokichi is missing, and when Maki finally found him, he was acting quite strange. Furthermore, Kokichi has a cut on his hand. In my personal opinion, I feel that the entire setup is a red herring. It's way too convenient at this moment to say that he's the killer. This is all that has currently happened. With all the major plot points for the prologue in Chapter 1 out of the way, I'll get into my predictions about the killer. My number one suspect as of this moment is Sonia. She seemed to be all over the place that day. Furthermore, Izuru's time of death was stated to be at 1:30 p.m. All of the girls were accounted for during that time frame. She very well could have been able to slip away to commit the crime. Additionally, Komaru had gone to the freezer before Sonia. The body was not there. Since Sonia went back inside the second time, she very well could have had the body hidden somewhere and put it in the freezer before she left. After all, Sho and Maki were the first two people to discover the body. Another suspect I have at this moment is Imposter. Solely due to the fact that Imposter was supposed to be with Kokichi, but they got separated somehow. I suspect too that the cut on Kokichi's hand is actually rope burn. I don't really have any basis for this, but it's a thought nonetheless. There are probably still things I am overlooking, so if anyone has anything to add, please feel free to drop a comment. Overall, this is one of the best Insta-Rompas I have read in a long time. I like the idea of Maki being the only participant that remembers her past killing game. I already have loads of theories, but more will come up in the future. Plus, I am biased to liking the relationship between Maki and Kokichi, since Kokichi is my favorite character from Danganronpa. And I was surprised by the relationship between Kurumi and Komaru. I'm excited to see where things go from here. Please do me a favor by supporting the creators of this project. They definitely deserve it. If you enjoyed this video, it would mean a lot to me if you like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I will definitely upload more videos like this, so if you have any recommendations, feel free to leave them in the comments as well. Thank you all so much. This is Sarah signing off for this video.